Good afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is CJ LeMaster, and I am your investigative reporter here at WLBT. I'm also your host for today here at the digital news desk. Kara Shirley is out on vacation, and a much needed one. Hope to hold down the fort for her while she's out. I'll also be with you next Monday as well. Got a lot of stuff that we were actually following. We appreciate all of you watching. Got about 17 on the Facebook live stream right now. We're also, of course, streaming on our OTT platforms. If you download our app on Amazon through Apple TV, all the different ways you can actually get that. You can watch us actually through the WLBT mobile app. We appreciate all of you watching today for our headlines and everything that we're going to get to. We first want to start talking to you about, this is actually a story that we have been really following pretty continuously since this happened yesterday. A man facing charges after shooting at a Capitol police officer and hitting a canine officer. Now, this all started at a traffic stop on I-55 near McDowell Road in South Jackson. Officers eventually found the suspect at the Marathon gas station on South Gallatin Street. Now, we know the officer was not hurt. The canine that was inside the car at the time was believed to have been shot. We just heard from Sean Tyndall, actually the DPS commissioner, posting on social media saying that that canine officer was actually hit by shrapnel and is expected to make a full recovery. So it's not nearly as serious as they thought, and the officer, the animal, will be just fine. Here's some video from the scene, though. The officer was conducting a traffic stop when suddenly a man began shooting at him. Now, on your screen right here is the man police say shot the officer. This is exclusive video of him being loaded onto a stretcher after the Capitol police officer returned fire. Now, this is at the Marathon on Gallatin Street again. This is the location that everything came to an end. It's less than 2 miles from where the shooting started. At this time, there's still no word on why the suspect shot at the officer or what his charges are going to be.
I've been in law enforcement now for 30 years. My heart goes out to our police officers who have to experience this every single day. We have individuals in our community who do not respect law enforcement. They do not respect authority as a whole. And this is what the byproduct of that is: firing upon law enforcement, no respect for law enforcement. And these officers are out here putting their lives on the line every single day to make sure we have a better quality of life here in the city of Jackson and Metro Mississippi.
Neither the police officer nor the suspect's name has been released at this point. Also developing news from overnight: a Capitol police chase ending in South Jackson late last night. Witnesses tell us that officers pursued a person driving a Ram truck onto Dorgan Street near McDowell Road. We just got information from Capitol Police saying this happened at a little after 8 o'clock. Police officers observing a vehicle driving carelessly near Raymond and Ellis Roads. Officers attempted to initiate a traffic stop on the vehicle. The driver failed to stop, and that's what led them to this brief pursuit to Dorgan Street. All occupants of the vehicle, including the driver, were juveniles. A guardian of the driver was the owner of the vehicle and advised Capitol Police they were unaware the driver had even taken the vehicle. So the juvenile driver, has been charged with felony fleeing. They don't have any other information. All this coming from DPS spokesperson Bailey Martin. And of course, that's new information that we just got just in the last hour and a half today. So we have some more information we want to get to you. Another story that we're following: Jackson police arresting and charging a teenager in a November murder case. Now, 18-year-old Tamarius Forrest now charged with capital murder and attempted armed robbery. He's accused of killing 18-year-old Samuel Taylor on Fairfax Avenue. Forrest was denied bond on that capital murder charge. 2 other teens were previously arrested and charged in this case. Well, Vicksburg police are searching for some underage suspects after a drive-by shooting happened Thursday afternoon. That's yesterday afternoon. This happened on Adams Street. The video that you're seeing now comes to us from the Vicksburg Daily News. Police Chief Penny Jones says someone was firing at a teenager from a dark-colored 4-door sedan. A home was hit by bullets, but no one was hurt. Chief Jones says they do have persons of interest after collecting surveillance video from the scene. Residents who live off of West Jackson Street are concerned about a road hazard there. I want to show you what this looks like. That's the sinkhole in particular off Denver Street, creating some hazardous driving conditions for those who live on this street and in the area in West Jackson. Still, residents say they've reported this sinkhole to the city many times. Nothing has been done to fix it. A Google Earth image shows this hole significantly smaller than when this was taken back in May of 2023. Now the hole is more than 10 feet across. Several men live in a home right next to the hole. They're elderly. That adds an extra layer of concern.
I'd just like to see them fix the sewer lines and go ahead and fill the hole back up. That'd be nice. So, and that's about to be our only way out of here because the other streets.
Now, Ward 5 Councilman Vernon Hartley provided this statement regarding the sinkhole. Because of the continual safe hazard, I've been told the city may provide a temporary fix in the next 3 weeks. Well, potholes and sinkholes, just one. Infrastructure concerns, many other concerns too that Jacksonians have. And several Jackson residents and organizations made their way to Greater Mountain Bethel Church last night to hear directly for the candidates running for mayor. And when we say that there were a lot in attendance, there were hundreds there. You can see from this video here, representing more than 30 religious congregations and nonprofits. Now, the goal for this event was to present a renewed vision and plan for transforming Jackson. Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba, Senator John Horn, Zach Service, and Rodney DePriest all participated. For one Jackson resident, he believes working together is needed to push the city forward.
It's very important for the citizen and the candidates, to work together because this is a team effort. One person, one party, whether he be a mayor, city council, cannot do this themselves. The police department, it's going to take all of us working together.
Questions varied from how the city can work together collectively to fostering more Black-owned businesses and how to physically revive Jackson. Now to a story we first told you about yesterday. The largest supplier of eggs in the U.S., based in Ridgeland, is now under federal investigation related to sky-high prices that consumers have been seeing for months when it comes to eggs. Cal-Maine Foods confirming to regulatory agencies just days ago that it recently received notice of a civil investigation demand by the Department of Justice's Antitrust Division. The company told shareholders it's cooperating with the probe into their pricing decisions. It also reported tripling its profits over the course of just 3 months, largely due to those prices. Now, again, those egg price increases came largely from a bird flu epidemic that forced farmers to kill tens of millions of egg-laying chickens. 3 on Your Side reached out to the company for comment. They have yet to tell us anything. You might have noticed a lot of dramatic flooding in places like Kentucky and Tennessee recently. All that water now is heading farther south. And we've talked about the threat to the Mississippi River, places like Vicksburg in particular. Well, not only is the Army Corps of Engineers working in Mississippi, the group is also taking steps to make sure the river levee system around New Orleans is also sound. There's a lot of responsibility there. Of course, phase one of the Corps' flood fights will involve daily inspections, and while the river is rising for now, the Corps does not anticipate having to open the Bonnie Carey spillway. The river level at the Carrollton gauge was at 8.5 feet Wednesday, but river levels would have to get around 16.5 feet for the Corps to consider opening the Bonnie Carey. While the opening is designed to keep New Orleans safe from river floods, diverting that water into Lake Pontchartrain, it's opposed by fishermen concerned about how fresh water will impact the fish, oyster, and crab catch in the lake and, of course, in the Mississippi Sound.
As of today, we're not in the forecast for operation of Bonnie Carey, but we are seeing the forecast change on a daily basis. So we're making our preparations. We're getting out. We're making sure that this system is ready to perform as designed.
Now, the Corps may put an outright construction ban near the levees in place within the next 2 weeks, but for now, they say there are no plans to open the spillway. And speaking of impacts from the Mississippi River, we've actually been following this and just making sure that, as residents, as those waters rise, particularly in Vicksburg, you have impact to residents. Here's one. This is a temporary closure. Both directions of State Road 465 between Highway 61 and Levee Road will close. Now, this begins Monday. So in just 3 days. 3 days from today. The closure was due to those rising floodwaters on the Mississippi. Please seek an alternate route if you typically travel in that direction. Another temporary closure, not having to do with the flooding, but one a little closer to home in Clinton. Another traffic advisory from MDOT. This one, you can expect temporary lane closures next week. Now, this will be the outside lane of Spring Ridge Road, starting at the intersection of Fairmont Street and Spring Ridge Road. Lane closure will extend through the intersection of Highway 80 in Spring Ridge and continue south just past the construction limits of that new tie-in on Main Street. This starts Monday. It goes through Thursday, April 17th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Crews there will be installing curbs, gutters, and asphalt at that location. So let's talk tariffs for a second and how it could specifically affect Mississippians and Mississippi's industry. Multiple industries holding their breath to see exactly what the final tariff outlook will be. And of course, we're on your side trying to help provide answers for you tonight too, or for today, I should say. I'm so used to saying tonight, it's a little after 1 o'clock. The Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation says that while farmers support leveling the trade playing field, they will be the front lines of impacts from the tariffs. The president explains, of course, that Mississippi and America produce more agricultural products than we can consume. Those have to be shipped somewhere else to be sold.
The difference from the farmer is we don't have the ability to raise the price for what we're selling our crops for. We have to go to the commodity market, and as some of the world trading partners back out of trade deals with us, then the commodity market probably will go down, so we get less money for that.
Soybean farmers are expected to be impacted the most. China imports a lot of soybeans, but some of that impact has already started. That's because China started getting soybeans from Brazil, moving away from American market dependence in recent years. More news straight ahead, but first, here's a word from our sponsor, Jackson Water.
Time for a neighborly tip from Jackson Water. Is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water?
No!
What if I run the garbage disposal?
No!
How about if I use dish soap at the same time?
No!
Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.
Welcome back to WLBT Plus and the digital news desk for this Friday, April 11th. I'm CJ LeMaster, investigative reporter here. Now to some more news making headlines. New York's Mayor Eric Adams says 6 people, including 3 children, are dead after a passenger helicopter crashed into the Hudson River on Thursday. This is video from the scene. Officials say a family from Spain was on the helicopter taking a tour of New York City sites. A law enforcement official identified one member of that family as Agustin Escobar. The pilot was the sixth person killed. A CNN analysis of flight tracking radar found the helicopter was in the air for 16 minutes before it went down.
According to the manifest, aboard the helicopter were 6 people, 1 pilot, 2 adults, and 3 children. NYPD divers pulled 4 people from the crash site, and FDNY divers recovered an additional 2. Immediate life-saving measures were undertaken on the vessels at the scene, as well as the adjoining pier. 4 victims were pronounced dead on scene, and 2 more were removed to local area hospitals, where sadly both succumbed to their injuries.
Now, the NTSB and FAA are investigating the cause of that crash. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries slammed the GOP after House Republicans narrowly approved the budget framework yesterday. Now, Jeffries warning, of course, that the bill itself would result in extreme cuts to government programs, including Medicare and Medicaid. He also raised questions about possible stock manipulation tied to President Trump's dramatic reversal on tariffs.
House and Senate Democrats are standing on the side of the American people, and we continue to be committed to building an economy that's affordable and that works for everyday Americans and drives down the high cost of living, while protecting health care, nutritional assistance, and the Social Security of the American people.
The Senate Democrats also weighed in on possible market manipulation, asking for the U.S. government or Office of Government Ethics to look into whether anybody benefited financially from advanced knowledge of Trump's decision to back down on tariffs to most countries on Wednesday. Federal judge is allowing the Trump administration new immigration registration policies to move forward. Now, these policies include mandates on like requiring non-citizens to ages 14 and older, to register with the government, submit biometric data like fingerprinting, and also carry proof of registration. Now, failure to do so could result in criminal charges. This policy was challenged in a lawsuit filed last month by numerous immigrant advocacy groups. They argued the rules would disproportionately harm non-citizens, especially those who've already been screened and vetted by the federal government. A Senate committee yesterday dedicated time to talk about, time. Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee convened a hearing about daylight saving time. The committee looking at that twice yearly clock change and its impact on Americans, also possibly making standard time or daylight saving time permanent.
The American people love having an extra hour of sunlight, especially in my state of Florida, where that means more time you can enjoy outdoors and activities with families. Studies also show the potential for reduced cardiac issues, stroke, and seasonal depression. Reduced robberies, benefits to the agricultural and overall economy with an extra hour of sunlight. This is a common sense change to simplify and benefit the lives of Americans. And we have a great opportunity to finally get this done with President Trump on board to lock the clock.
At the hearing, the committee's chairman, Senator Ted Cruz, said there's a general consensus among his colleagues that the system of switching the clocks needs to be changed, but he said there's disagreement about whether to adopt universal standard time or daylight saving time. President Donald Trump will have his annual physical today. The exam takes place at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Trump first posted the news on social media Monday, saying he's never felt better. Back in November 2023, his doctor echoed a similar sentiment. Trump turns 79 years old in June. While authors and illustrators recognized in South Mississippi yesterday, and that's, of course, at the second day of the 57th annual Fay B. Kagler Children's Book Festival at Southern Miss. Highlighted by several awards presentations, awards for authors and illustrators given out during this luncheon, and prior to that, the Southern Miss Medallion were presented.
I think the body of work is selected as opposed to a particular book. And so you know that the committee spent some time really researching what it is that you do and your entirety, the breadth of your entire work. That to me says something. And it means that it's an award given to my life's work.
That event, of course, wrapping up in the next few hours. Well, finally, before we let you go, we want to tell you about a very uplifting story, if you will, certainly for so many Mississippians. During segregation, African American hospitals treated thousands in the state when other doors were closed to them. Well, now, with this unveiling, the Mississippi State Medical Association and the Department of Archives and History paid tribute to those healthcare professionals and facilities. Cornerstone Plaza at the Medical Association's headquarters contains the cornerstone of Colored King's Daughters Hospital in Greenville. The plaza is made from bricks that came from other Black hospitals no longer in existence.
It is important for us not to forget any of our history in Mississippi, and particularly medical history. And we were so divided in so many ways in history of Mississippi, and this reminds us of those times and how we need to learn from that.
Inside the time capsule, inside the cornerstone, is a time capsule with medical journals and artifacts as well. That is our news for this Friday, April 11th. Thank you so much for watching WLBT Plus. I'm CJ LeMaster, investigative reporter for WLBT. At 2:30, we've got an update from your First Alert weather team, including Chief Meteorologist Dave Roberts. At 6:30, we have more of the same, another update on your weather to keep you weather alert. And in between there, we have a whole lot of newscasts that are streaming both on air and online starting at 4 o'clock. And don't forget, for the latest news, weather, and sports, check out WLBT.com. We are Mississippi's breaking news leader. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a tremendously fun weekend. Good night.